Hi, I'm Christopher Lewis, and my presentation today is on retirement planning for 20-year-olds. I recently turned 61, and a business colleague of mine suggested, why don't you do a series on retirement planning, but geared towards the younger generation? So here it is, my presentation on retirement planning for 20-year-olds. Let's look at the slides. The first thing that may come to mind is that retirement at 20 is the last thing you're thinking about. But let me start off by saying, no, you will not live forever. We are all human. Time flies, and remember when you were a teenager? That may seem so long ago. And the earlier you start the process of retirement planning, the better it will be for you in the long run. And it's something that you have to do. You cannot escape doing it. And so why not take advantage of an early start? Don't wait until you are 50. At 50, you'll only have 10 years to build your annuity value. Also at 50, you may meet borrowing age thresholds. If you wanted to invest in real estate at that time, you may not be able to get, for example, a 20-year mortgage. It is also more challenging at 50 to go back to school and to acquire new education to learn new skills if you wanted to make a career change. At 50, you may have accumulated debt commitments, which may leave insufficient room for you to provide for savings and investment. So think of it as building equity. Equity, of course, is a simple equation, is equal to assets minus liabilities. The more assets you may have and the less liabilities, the more equity you are building. So start early, acquiring assets that will hopefully increase in value over time, while any related debt burden will decline. Your borrowing capacity also may peak at the 35 to 50-year-old range as your earning power increases. This will give you a jump start in building equity. Of course, you can build equity at any age, but you are often relying on the foundation which you have built over time to propel you forward. You may also think of it as building cash flows. The world, as we know, turns with cash. No matter how profitable a business may be on paper, if it does not generate enough surplus cash, it's in trouble. You need cash to acquire assets, to eat, and to pay bills. So you need to consider what will be generating cash for you now and in the future. A large cash nest egg is good to have, but if your net income flow is not positive, the money will eventually run out. Choose your jobs, your studies, and your business ventures wisely. So retirement planning really starts with your choice of study, school, or business venture. You need to consider what is the long-term career potential or income potential of those choices. When you are young, you may have plenty of time to make mistakes and to recover from those mistakes and go in new directions. But that can't be the story of your life. Let's hope that each choice you make will be a building block for your future, even if it does not lead to your final destination. So let's look at this table, which demonstrates the value of a dollar. A dollar savings a day adds up. So if at age 25, you started to save a dollar a day, and you did so until age 60, that's 35 years of savings, and that will build up to $12,775 at age 60, not including interest. If you're able to save $5 a day from now, that will be $63,875. And as the table shows, it builds up to over $1 million at age 60 if you're able to save $80 a day. Each dollar adds up to the cash nest egg which you are trying to build over time. Looking at it another way, if you progressively increase your savings as your income increases, that will also be of assistance to you in the long term. So at age 25, if you were able to save $150 a month, that would build up to $9,000 in 5 years' time. At age 30, if you were able to increase those monthly savings to $600 based on your income levels at age 30, that would be equivalent to $36,000 in savings in 5 years. So if you continue like that, incrementally increasing your savings per month as your income increases, you could again have a nest egg of $567,000 by the time you reach age 60 if you make that progressive increases in your monthly savings. And of course, these figures do not include interest. So depending on your capacity to save, if once you are consistent at it, the money will build up over time. There are some appreciating assets, if you choose wisely, that could be of benefit to you in building equity. Number one for many people would be property. And when buying property, the number one factor is location. Location, location. Another way of looking at it, which I suggest, is to ask yourself, will a young single mom with 2 children want to live there? Because if you put yourself in that single mom's shoes with the 2 children, they'll be asking questions about safety, about the security of their home, ease of transporting. They may not have their own private vehicle. So how easy is it to get public transport? Is there off-road parking if they have their own vehicle? What is the neighborhood like? So if you think a young single mom with 2 children will be comfortable in the space, then likely it may be a good prospect. And then you just need to consider as well the location in terms of appreciation value over time. Stocks and bonds are also valuable assets which you may have in your portfolio. But before you do this, I strongly suggest you seek advice from the investment professionals. Do your own research and analysis so that when the time comes, you can make an informed decision. You may want to invest in some type of business. Firstly, you need to ask yourself, do you have enough capital for that business? And it's not only about capital to start the business, but capital to help the business grow at the rate that it can grow over time. Is it a long-term business, or is it simply a passing fad that may expire in 2 years? Here's your business plan. A business plan is very important to set the parameters under which a business is expected to be successful. Are the expected returns in line with the expected risks? Is it worth it? And is the business something you have a passion for, or simply an idea which you hope you can make money on? Because you will find that the more you have a passion for what you do, the more likely you will be successful in accomplishing your goals. Some other appreciating assets, people often don't think of art, but before you go there, I would suggest that you should have a love for art before you try to invest in art. It is an investment, but don't bet the farm on it. Get some advice, talk to some art experts, get recommendations, and stick within a budget that you can afford. Annuities, of course, are well recommended to assist you in retirement planning, but choose a well-established company for your annuity, one that is likely to be around for 35 years at payout time. Look at their financial statements, Google them, ask around, be comfortable in your choice. It's not just about interest rates. It's about the strength of the company as well to keep its promises over time. Talking about annuities, it's a good investment, as I mentioned before. Number one, the monthly premiums are tax deductible with limits that will be set from time to time. You can also supplement your future NIS or pension benefits with annuity payments. You are usually entitled to a lump sum cash payment on expiry of the annuity. Based on your choices, you may have a larger lump sum or less lump sum, but that affects the annuity payment that is paid at retirement. So depending on your circumstances, you can make the correct choice. It helps you to build your net worth, and the annuity value will increase over time with interest. Of course, there are also depreciating assets, assets that lose their value over time. Number one is cars. As you drive out of a showroom with a brand new car, you have lost value. If you try to drive back into the showroom and say you didn't want the car again, it will be of less value because then it's a used car. No matter how long you owned it, it is registered in your name, there's a license plate. So it's a used car and that will have a less value than a brand new car. Cell phones. Every other year there may be a new model of a cell phone, and what may happen is that the new model has more features than the model you just bought and maybe at a lower price. So cell phones depreciating value over time. And the same goes for video games and electronics. Then there's what I call money down the drain. They're generally things in which you have fun, and it's okay to have all the fun you want, but please stick to your budget. So this includes activities such as foreign travel, parties, playing mass, clubbing, alcohol. It's very beneficial to be able to generate multiple income streams. So you may have a day job, you may do some contract work or part-time work on the side. You can also offer a whole range of online services or generate revenue online, whether it is through providing online services for offices, editing services online, practical tuition online and you charge a fee, or you may have a YouTube channel or TikTok channel and you earn revenues from those channels. There's also traditional entrepreneurship where you buy something and you sell it at a higher profit and you make money that way. There may be investments, which we spoke about. You may have property and you can earn rental income from that property. Each revenue stream or income stream adds up. Have regular financial checkups. We often think of medical checkups. We go to the doctor maybe once a year or every 3 months to check our internal systems, make sure everything is working properly, and we get a clean bill of health, hopefully. Similarly, we need to do the same thing in terms of a financial checkup. How often do you prepare a personal statement of affairs? Your personal assets, your personal liabilities, and when you subtract the two, you will see what is your personal equity that you are hopefully building up. Every month you should be looking at your monthly cash budget, or more frequently if you need to do so. It will show you what is your opening cash at the start of the month, what are the sources of income, what are the prime expenses such as loans, insurance payments, and so on, what are your ordinary expenses, and how much you are left with at the end of the month. And of course, that goes forward to the opening balance for the next month. That helps you to keep track of your cash and to know how you're spending your money. In the end, this will help you to build equity. Calculate your debt service ratio. This basically shows you what percentage of your income is used to pay debt. And your personal current ratio is the relationship between your current assets, which are cash or near cash instruments, divided by your current liabilities, which would be your debts that you have to pay within a short period of time. Verify your NIS records every 10 years, starting, I would suggest, at age 30. When you are employed, you pay your taxes, you pay your NIS, it goes to NIB, or so you assume, and then at age 60, you are looking to reap the benefits of your NIS contributions. So you need to make sure that NIB's records are the same as your personal records. To help you to do this, you need to keep your TD4 slips, which you receive from your workplace at the end of each year. Sometimes there may be discrepancies between the NIB records and your personal records. So it makes sense to sort out those discrepancies as early as you can. Do you ever really retire? Forget about that rocking chair image. That was for before the internet age, before there are so many opportunities available to you. It's more today about freedom to make lifestyle choices, freedom to spend more time with your family, freedom to pursue different career interests or business interests, freedom to travel, to do what you choose to do at a certain point of time in your life because you are comfortable. So this is what retirement really means. So what does the ideal retirement state look like? Well, that really depends on what is important to you. So one person's ideal, it would be very different from another person. What are some of the signs of good retirement planning from a financial standpoint? Firstly, your house may be paid off or the non-pension income which you earn exceeds the monthly mortgage payment. Your debt service ratio is in the 10% range. You may be earning several income streams. No major capital expenditure is anticipated. The major capital expenditure you needed to do, for example, on your property or acquisitions, you have already done so. You are in good health. Health is very important when you are approaching retirement age. medical expenses can be very costly depending on the nature of your illness. So you want to be in good health, eat right, exercise, and try to live a long, healthy life. You would hopefully have built up an adequate cash nest egg that you can use for emergencies. So this is the end of my presentation, and I thank you for viewing. I invite you to look at my YouTube channel or also my LinkedIn page.